right, here we are, everybody. Welcome. Week 19, Tom and Q show. No wives, clearly, and I have a guest that can vouch that she was actually asked. Leading into that, Q is on vacation this week, but the show must go on. So, with that being said, my good buddy, friend of the show, Tommy Watkins is here to help me out today. Founder of White Oak Productions, Skinny Beer Saturday, all kinds of things that go on with this. So, Tommy, thanks for helping me out.
Absolutely.
Welcome down to the basement. As we're back home. We've been on the road 2 weeks in a row. Here we are, back home. Got my Fretboard Brewery sign up. You know, we're gonna get into all kinds of stuff. But first, let's just recap last week. So, if you watched the show last week, we were live at Fretboard.
Yeah.
And we were on stage. And, you know, when we started doing this show, we always knew, like, hey, it's going to be kind of hokey, from going to Best Buy and buying the webcam to getting some microphones. And then, you know, we've got this colorful, not made by Milton Bradley, even though it looks like it was made by Milton Bradley.
It looks amazing. Not gonna lie, it looks amazing.
That the music production board, the music wheel, our local legends flag, like, to go to Fretboard and actually do a show live, and we used a lot of our equipment.
Yeah.
But then having to be on stage, trying to set, I mean, if you could see just even what we do to set up here, to go there, and then to try to figure out with our janky equipment.
Fear of the unknown.
Yes. And it's like, how are we going to look?
Right.
And they had, they had their stage lights on us, and they had the shade boards, and we're like, well, we don't do any of this stuff at my house. Like, well, and then him and I are acting like we know what we're doing. Like, can you move this a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right?
Right.
We look purple. Oh, we look green. It's like he's messing with the lights, and then to play the music, like, they had their own giant equalizer that they use for, like, live bands.
Right.
And, like, the music was playing in the background kind of as we're going. And to us, it was loud. And I think you were able to pick it up online on the show.
You were.
What's awesome was when I converted this over to YouTube, like, usually we get dinged for when Alexa does it.
Yeah.
Alexa, stop. So, yeah, we're back with Alexa today, too. So we usually get dinged. And I ran through that whole thing, and all the checks worked out. I'm like, I know we played a lot of copywritten music.
Stuff that has to get done.
It has to.
Yeah.
Absolutely has to. So I got to try 5 beers, all of them. And as much as I don't like craft brew, all of them were good. Whether I would get them again,
Right.
I know there's 2. I would definitely get 2 of them there when I go back, and we will go back. And the
Right.
food there at Smoked Out Cincy,
Amazing.
yeah, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's really hard, especially on the west side of town. You know, it used to be like you had Big Arts, Waltz.
Oh, I miss Big Arts.
Yeah, and now there's really nothing. You know, you have the gentleman that opened the one down on Harrison Avenue.
Yeah.
That's relatively new.
Kansas City barbecue.
Yeah, and I haven't had that yet.
It's pretty good.
But to get, and I like smoking meat just as much as anybody else. So, but you can't do that quick. So, like, when you had Waltz and Big Arts, you could go and get it quick. So I was driving, I passed the place on Harrison Avenue, and I'm like, man, that sounds good tonight.
Right.
And then it hit me. I'm like, well, there's no quick place to get it, and it's 4 o'clock. I can't just crank up the grill and do it. And it's like,
Right.
whatever. So Smoked Out Cincy is phenomenal. You can go there. They have everything ready. They open up at 3 o'clock. They've got a live music schedule. And on top of that, and I want to get into this too, they have just put out this thing for Monday nights for asking for podcasters
Yeah.
to come in. So, you know, we have this hokey dokey show that we love doing, and we've done it, you know, we love it so much we've done it for 19 straight weeks, you know, and just continue to try to get better and grow and grow and grow.
Exactly.
And so, Cecilia, I sent you the message. Yes, we want in, so whatever we need to do, we'll email Mitch, and hopefully we can get us down there. Maybe if that's the case, get some type of live audience.
That'd be fun.
And just do what we've always done and have a ball.
Right.
So that'll be cool. So anyway, that was kind of last week. So this week, special guest co-host, Mr. Tommy Watkins, neighbor, good friend, teammate, all across the board. Our relationship probably goes back, say, 10 years?
Yeah.
10 years. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Father of three. I have 3 kids. Mackenzie, Charlie, and Riley. I do a lot of coaching on the side. Coach at Riley League in high school. Married to a beautiful wife, Nicole, breast cancer survivor. Her and my sister, same week, battled breast cancer, and ended up beating it. She beat it. Unfortunately, sister passed away, which led to another opportunity, which was our charity that we started. You've been a big supporter of it, Tommy Watkins Memorial Fund.
Yeah.
I also do sales for a company called Ascent Safety Solutions. We have another offshoot, which is called Safe Staff, a woman-owned business owned by Jessica Astor Camp, who's friend also owns that barbecue place in
Smoked Out
Brentwood,
Titsy. So
which is pretty cool.
It's crazy how when you're West Siders and you live on this side of town, you know, a bunch of those guys, if not all of them, all graduated from LaSalle.
Yeah.
Right. And so we didn't get to meet him, but they talked about him
Jason
briefly.
Yeah.
And I think when you and I were talking about it, you said, "Hey, I know that guy."
Right.
Right. And then I get home and we were talking to several of the owners, and my wife's like, "Hey, I'm friends with his wife." I'm
Right.
like, that would have been great to know before I actually went to show.
Yeah.
But you know, you mentioned, you know, your wife, Nicole, your sister, Amanda, and kind of the one thing, you know, knowing you personally the way I do is, and we talk a lot about this on the show too, is caring for other people.
Yeah.
Right. Putting other people ahead of yourself.
Absolutely.
You know, always having kind of that, you know, playing sports, coaching sports, whatever it was, you know, it was always cool to be a part of something that was bigger than you.
Yep.
Right. And so you guys created this foundation. Can you kind of talk about kind of how, one, your involvement started, and how it's kind of transpired into what it is now?
It's crazy. Started the first event, buddy of mine from Capital University, I played football with him in college, was battling leukemia.
Okay.
And we were like, how can we help him?
Yeah.
So it's been a couple years since we all graduated. We were like, okay, we need to all get together. So we treated it like a reunion. We got all the football players, baseball players, had a little shindig at a bar, small little hole-in-the-wall bar. I mean, you picture this smoky. It used to be smoky.
Yeah.
That was
Back
bad.
then you could
Back
do,
then, yeah.
you know, it's funny you say that too, because like now you'd walk in, they'd be like, smoky or not.
Right.
Now they don't have that anymore. And,
No.
like, and you think to yourself, like, how in the world do we eat
Right.
with cigarette smoke floating from wherever it was?
It's brutal. It was brutal. So we're up there, and it's a pizza joint called TT Murph's. So, I mean, smoke filled from pizza, wings, anything. We're just the people out back where it's coming inside. Well, we packed in there. We treated it like a golf outing. And everybody came in. We sponsored bar taps. We sponsored bar stools, TVs, and then we had a little raffle. And we raised a great chunk of money for him. His name was Sherm Sackett. His real name's Paul, but his nickname was Sherm. And he's offensive lineman. Well, thank God he beat it. We raised a boatload of money for him, and we've continued it every year since then. And then we figured out, how can we do this down in Cincinnati?
Yeah.
What can we do? And then just playing volleyball at the Knotty Pine on Friday nights, we were like, well, let's just host the volleyball tournament.
Which is kind of odd too, because, you know, everybody, there's millions of golf tournaments.
Yes.
You know, you see, you know, being involved in baseball, we'll see baseball fundraisers,
Right.
you know, bowling, all these other things. So it's really rare to have something so unique as an actual volleyball tournament. And I was, you know, my wife played volleyball, and I never really took like when she played for school or whatever, yeah, we took an interest in it. But like, you know, kind of as you go, well, just like when I was playing softball, she really didn't take a whole lot of interest in that either.
Right.
You know, but as you go through it, and you're going through life, and you get older, and you're looking for stuff to do. She started playing, you know, at sand volleyball at different places, and when I kind of found out about the volleyball tournament, I'm like, oh, that's cool, it's unique, but I didn't really know a whole lot of what to expect. You know,
Right.
again, I'm used to golf outings. I'm used to, you know, whether it's a drink and drown or some type of party,
Yep.
you know, involved around it. And to hear that there's going to be this sand volleyball tournament, I'm a little bit of a skeptic. It's like, well, if I don't play, who the heck, you know, what guys are going to go? No guys play sand volleyball,
Right.
you know, and how are you going to raise money doing that? And you know, we did a really, really nice tour. You know, that the first year that I was there, I was like, all right, I'm going to buy all in on this concept. So we did a really, really nice tour and spoke with, you know, Cole and Casey and those guys over at Knotty Pine, and did some live video there, or did some tour work, talked about their portion of the tournament, and then the tournament came. And I remember sitting up there, and I'm like, holy cow, there's a ton of people here.
Yeah.
And then you're watching the volleyball, and then I'm like, dude, I could do that.
Right.
And like, I want to play.
Right.
You know, and it's so unique, which is what I think makes it, the actual event
Yeah.
itself, so awesome. So you just were playing volleyball and said, nobody's doing this, let's do this.
Yeah, I'm like, what can we do that's different? Because
Yeah.
like you said, everybody was like doing golf outings and things like that, and I'm like, okay, those are getting watered down. How can we be different?
Yeah.
And I mean, I've seen things, other unique tournaments such as like wiffle ball tournaments and things like that, which are genius ideas.
Yeah.
But you want to do something that everybody can play, and I want to be involved, men and women. I wanted to be able to do something with my wife.
Yeah.
And it was an opportunity to do that. So talked to Cole and Casey over at the Knotty Pine, and they were like, yeah, we'd love to do it. And then not too much long later, I think it might have been a month later after we talked about it, their mother passed away.
Right.
So we put their mom's name on it as well to help honor her.
Yeah.
And then we called the Amanda Watkins Dunn Bobby Weddle Memorial Volleyball Tournament. And
Which is awesome that you do that, because when I interviewed them, and they're just salt of the earth people.
Yep.
And we started talking about Bobby and their mom, and you can see it like in the kids' eyes, like for somebody like you to step up and do something to combine, you know, the foundation, and we'll get into kind of like who you're honoring in that place, but to actually combine them as well. Like, again, it just goes back to rooting. We talk about rooting for the person and just caring for that other person, to where you're doing something that this is so much bigger than you.
Yeah.
You know, so you meet with them. They say, yeah, let's do it. At that point, I mean, did you have any expectations? I mean, what did you think?
I honestly wanted to raise like $2,500 to $3,000.
Yeah.
Like if we could raise that and then put it towards a scholarship. So a portion of the proceeds goes to a scholarship to Roger Bacon in honor of my sister. So they have the Amanda Watkins Dunn Memorial Scholarship at Roger Bacon. Students fill out an application. We learn about them, their lives, their hardships, what it means to be a Spartan, and what they think it means to be a Spartan. Really,
Yeah.
it's like what's your values? What's the bigger picture? Is it bigger than yourself?
Right.
And that's what we want to see. So when we see that, we vote on it as a committee. We have multiple committee members. I mean, you and Nicole are on it, and we really appreciate that. We have my wife, my sister-in-law. I mean, there's about 12 people that are actively involved. Greg Seaforth.
Greg, another
Yeah,
friend of the show.
He's on there, and his wife Emily, and my DJ partner Chris Simpson, and his wife Lauren. They're all involved. Dory Menninger and Carrie McCabe. I couldn't do it without them.
Right.
They're amazing.
And they're super like high energy.
Yes.
Like they just eat this stuff up.
I mean, they are rock stars.
Yeah, I've noticed that just the short time that we've been on this panel, this board, whatever. Like they just pick up and go.
They do. I mean,
It's
it's
awesome.
great because it gets stressful. I mean, you're hounding people for donations. I mean, and everybody's getting hounded for donations.
Yeah.
Every business is. They're getting hounded for sponsorships, and we understand that. Everybody's trying to raise money for a common goal of some sort. We just look at it as we're gonna take what we can get, but we also want to give back.
Yeah.
And we started this based off of another charity. A charity that helped us, which was the Jeffrey G. Hay Memorial Fund.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that because I obviously know about it, but really taking the two, right?
Yeah.
And again, just making it this massive outreach.
I mean, it was unbelievable. So I was really first exposed to a large charity event when my nephew Austin was battling he had a brain tumor.
Okay.
He beat it.
Yeah.
He was 13 and ended up beating it. But then my sister was a recipient when she had breast cancer. My wife was a recipient when she had breast cancer. Our friend Leslie Barson, who's also on the committee, was a recipient when she had breast cancer. So, I mean, we've known somebody almost every year that's been a recipient of this, and they raise over $100,000 every single year.
Wow.
At a golf outing. So they do it at Aston Oaks. They have golfers. They have 2 flights, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and they have an online auction. And then just their love and support that they gave the event inspired us to start this.
Yeah.
And they even give to us.
Yeah.
Which is great. So I mean, they donate our major raffle prize every year because they want to see us succeed as well as we want to see them succeed. So they're actually having an event this Saturday at Timeout Sports Bar on Corrigan Avenue.
Yeah.
From 2 to close, where all the tips for the bartenders are going to the fund.
Wow. Okay.
And then they're doing like a cooler of cheer, which is pretty cool. Their cooler of cheer is awesome. So you can get tickets via Venmo. We can post that later.
Yeah.
Potentially with the links there. But then that inspired us to start our charity and give back. And then this year, we've done the Halloween party as well that you've attended.
Yeah.
We do that in October. It sells out. We have DJ Diamond from The Wiz, which is awesome.
Yeah.
He just mixes all kinds of music.
Which that event itself it's just on a whole different level.
Yeah.
Right. And talking about even both of these events, especially over, kind of talk about both of these events kind of over the last 12 months.
Yeah. Through COVID.
Yeah.
Yes. Hoping we'd get one in. I was hoping we'd get one in.
So, and we're working on the sound here. I understand there's a little bit of static. I tried turning some of the volume down, so if it's too bad, we apologize, but we'll keep working on it.
Yes.
So again, not to cut you off.
Oh, that's fine.
So tell me a little bit about the timing of the volleyball tournament. In years past, had always been
In April.
In April, right?
Yeah.
So in Cincinnati, you really don't know what that weather is going to be like.
You don't know what it's going to be like in May or June.
Right.
Look at it.
Look at now,
right.
right? Here we are. It's 65, 70 degrees outside,
Right.
but it's rained like hell for the last 24 hours.
Absolutely.
So in April, that could be hail, sleet, snow, and then in the next minute it's 75 degrees.
I think we got all of that but the snow the one year.
Yeah.
That we had the tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, it was insane, and we decided we were going to move it.
Yeah.
We rolled the dice last year with everything going on in the world, and we decided that, hey, let's try and push it back. We want to have the event regardless. It's outdoors, a little bit more safe out there. So we pushed it back, tried it in August, and it worked out great. And so
almost great.
Almost great.
Almost great in COVID. So all the health orders were in place at that time, right? And you go to the Knotty Pine, which is a bar.
Yeah.
They've got a beautiful tiki bar out there. They've got a beautiful sand volleyball court out there. When your team gets scheduled for the 10-15 game and the bar shuts down alcohol sales at 10 o'clock.
Valid point.
Needless to say, no, it was a great event, but you did. You moved it to August.
Yeah.
We got lucky weather,
Yeah.
For the most part. Tons of people.
Tons of people.
Tons of donations. I mean, like, the awesome part about it was everybody was like, you know what? Forget about everything going on, and we're going to go help somebody out.
It was our best year yet.
Yeah,
which was amazing.
Jam packed. People from all over the place showed up. Not people that just weren't even playing. Just were interested in being there. The donations, the table you guys had set up with just raffle prizes.
2 days of raffle prizes. 50 prizes both days, plus 2 major raffles each day.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
You had music. There was live music that was going on.
Yep.
So this year, what's the dates?
So this year's August 13th and 14th. I'll be at the Knotty Pine. Games start on Friday that 13th, 5:45, and they'll go all night. We'll have DJ Diamond. We'll have Wicked Hickory Food Truck, which would be awesome. We were talking about barbecue. Great barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
Their brisket mac and cheese is phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're local as well. And then on day 2, we start at 9 in the morning. So I feel bad for some of those teams that...
And that goes all day again.
All day.
Yeah.
So it'll go 9 in the morning until midnight is typically when we wrap up. We have another food truck. We have Big Dog's Barbecue coming on Saturday. Also going to bring some tacos, some breakfast options as well.
I had those on Saturday last year. Those were phenomenal.
And then we'll also have 90 Proof Twang, which is an awesome country rock band. They're a great band. And on Friday we have Excalibur, which is a classic rock band. So 2 good bands both days. Should be a great time. And then we'll piggyback to the Halloween party October 30th this year. So we moved it back. We usually, the first year we did it on October 14th, the weekend of that, because that was my sister's birthday.
Yeah.
Passed away. So we did it that weekend. But now those dates are kind of becoming prime for Willow Event Center because they're local and they're trying to expand their brand. And he donates the hall to us just with being a nice guy and having a family that's gone through the same thing. So he donates the hall, and then we'll do it October 30th. So mark your calendars.
Yeah, definitely. And like we went through it. We did it last year. We've done it 2 years in a row now.
Yeah. Costumes are epic.
It's amazing, and especially which reminds me, we need to spin this wheel.
Yeah.
But the people that were there and the costumes that were there. Being in our 40s, the costumes that show up, they are just totally like our generation
without a doubt.
Of costumes.
Yes.
So like you walk by and like you were Macho Man Randy Savage, right? And,
There's really not anything macho about me, but it was still great.
It was hilarious.
The best is that my wife was Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan, yeah. And there was so many just to the point where everybody kind of had the same idea in a lot of circumstances. So you'd see like a couple Beetlejuice.
Yep.
We were Grease. There was
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz
was amazing.
What was the movie with Tom Hanks and the baseball? League of
Their Own.
There was League of Their Own people.
Yeah.
So like just the creativity that people come up with, especially as you turn to 40.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to, which clearly we are, if you're willing to kind of just let yourself go and not take yourself so serious and just show up and have a
enjoy
good time.
life.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
It's amazing because I remember after the first year, it was like, okay, we got to do that again.
Yeah.
It's like you start thinking of costumes.
I'm already planning.
Yeah. It's like, do I need to grow a beard? If I need to grow a beard, I got to start right now. Do I need,
That's what's funny is my wife is sitting there and she's like, we should dye your beard. So I grow it and I'm like, are you serious right now? I'm a ginger. Like, you really want to dye this thing? And she's like, absolutely. So I'm in there in her salon in our basement and she's dyeing it brown and covering up all. She goes, you're really gray. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Thanks for the reminder. We're getting up there. And I dye it, and my kids are like, Daddy, you don't look the same. And I'm like, perfect. This is great.
That's good.
We embrace the costume. I'm inhaling these fumes. And I'm like, this is... women that go through that, that get their hair done, kudos to them.
Well, I know that because I'm going to let the cat out of the bag here.
Okay.
So, I also do hair.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Okay.
So, I'm good at one color.
Okay.
And with one person.
Okay.
I won't say who that person is because I don't know if
we shouldn't. Yeah, I get it.
No, but
right.
But yeah, so I do her hair.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm pretty good at it. I'm almost ready to
expand.
I mean, I've cut the kids' hair.
Yeah.
I let this particular person cut my hair one time.
How'd that work out?
Awful.
Okay.
Actually, I shouldn't say that. Yes, at the moment it was terrible.
Okay.
You know, but when you forget the attachments on and you run it right down the top, your plans change.
Is that what happened when you looked like Joey Votto?
Correct.
Okay.
And then I got, and then I'm like, man, this is actually really easy. It's like,
You considered it.
I did. And then I was told, no, you don't do that.
Wow.
I'm like, why not? And I actually liked it. I was like, the less hair made my face look thinner.
Right?
You know, looked a little tougher. And I was like, business-wise, I don't want to have to explain this over and over and over again. You know, at least until the point to where it just became real. But yeah, so if you're looking for somebody to dye your hair one color and not a haircut, I just do dye jobs.
Okay.
Just one color, blonde. I could be your guy.
You can do it.
I could be your guy.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what's just funny is like, she dyed it, and my kids, they were like, Daddy, you should do that again. And I'm like, next Halloween, I might.
Yeah.
You might see all of this a different color. So you never know. Like, you need to plan your costume early.
What about, just thought about this, what if you embrace the gray?
Then go full gray.
Full gray, dye the hair gray, and be the most interesting man in the world.
Or Doc Brown, jumping gigawatts,
Yes,
Marty.
yes, yeah, the flux capacitor.
Yes.
Anytime you say flux capacitor, you got to play a song.
Yes,
so
you have to.
So this is you guys. So you get to do the honorary spin. So again, we'll go through, anytime we have a guest, we kind of explain to them how this janky, not made by Milton Bradley, wheel of music was made.
Okay.
Brought to you by White Oak Productions. So,
Yes.
it's 3 spins.
Okay.
The first spin gets you to the year.
Okay.
The second spin gets you to the genre.
Okay.
Top 40, R&B, rock, country, and then we picked the top 20.
Okay.
So then you spin the third time, whatever number you end up, we go to our magic interwebs of cell phones, and we look up the Billboard top, whatever song that is, of that particular year.
Gotcha.
Got it?
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to pull up, and you're going to hold that. Again, it's janky.
I've watched this show.
But we're going to go with top 40.
Top 40.
Okay? Or actually, what was that year?
That was 2005.
2005. That's a favorite. Okay, so
2005.
rock.
Rock.
And that is 13. Billboard top 100 in 2005 is
Number 13. Ooh, I know what I got.
what do you got? We'll go with your list. You're the
I have Shine Down, Burning Bright.
Alexa. Play Burning Bright by Shinedown.
That was the Rocks.
Burning Bright by Shinedown on Amazon Music.
There we go. We got it.
So I'll be honest with you, like I liked one Shinedown song as I was growing up because I had never heard of them.
Yeah.
And then I got one that I just threw on repeat, and it was Shinedown's version of Simple Man, Leonard Skinner.
Oh yeah.
And it was amazing. So I'm listening to the song, and I'm like, man, this is great. And my college roommate at the time, my past college roommate, we were about 3 years removed from college, and he goes, man, that song's awesome. I'm like, you're getting married, you should probably dance with it to your mom with it. And he was like, why would I already pick this song? I was like, I'm just kidding, bud. Like, you do it. Next thing you know, we show up at his wedding, which is in a whole nother story of itself.
Yeah.
We're in Marietta, Ohio.
Okay, been there.
Down on the river. They have this nice, beautiful, like, house on the river. They have a big garage, a pool house. And this garage would house, like, semis, because the guy owns Shelley and Sands,
Okay.
which is a big gravel company. We're down there. It floods. We're in the hotel. Ohio River floods. All of Marietta's flooded.
Yeah. Basically right on the river.
Right on the river.
Yeah.
And I'm in the hotel, and I'm looking at my buddy, and I'm like, what do we do? And next thing you know, he comes out. His soon-to-be father-in-law comes with a semi-trailer, a tractor trailer, long bed, and piles everybody and their belongings on top of it and trailers them through the water to his house. Because you go down this little valley and then there's the house, but we're all at the pool house. He goes, this wedding must go on. So we had the wedding in the midst of a flood. We bring everything up and we have it in the garage.
Yeah.
And it was a big giant party. We're all stuck there for what, 2 days? We're in this pool house for 2 days. And good thing they had stocked that place full of booze and beer and food.
Yeah.
And it was, I'll never forget it, but it was amazing.
People are yelling like, ration!
Right.
Ration!
Right. We're like, where are you sleeping? And I'm like, I'm going actually into the semi-truck, in the bed of the truck, the back of the truck.
I'm going to drink so much that I sleep all the way through tomorrow.
Right.
We'll worry about that the next day.
I mean, it was absolutely amazing, but it's something you'll never forget. But it just reminded me of the Shinedown
The Shinedown song.
Which is crazy.
So, yeah, and Marietta it's a whole.
They have a great baseball team, though.
They do. It's an amazing baseball team.
Yeah. You played against them.
Yes. Well, we could have played against them.
Okay.
They actually lost before us, so we were actually better than them.
Yeah. Okay.
So, right, that's how I speak it.
That's how I would see it.
You know. So, you know, kind of looking back, doing a little bit of a recap. We talked about, you know, the volleyball tournament. We've talked about, you know, the foundation. One thing that, at least for like myself, you know, as the last 12, 13 months, whatever it was, had kind of taken place, one of the things that you did that was kind of, you know, at least for kind of what we're doing right now, was kind of inspiring because, like, you know, where we work, one of the things they talked about before any of this stuff happened was like, do video, go on Facebook Live, do this, and you know, it's like one of the reasons we don't have any wives show up is because they don't really understand this point yet.
Right.
But like going live, especially the very first time you do it, you know, you're like, what's my hair look like? What's this look like? You know, and I couldn't never go live when I was doing the candy stuff.
Right.
I was so nervous about making video. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to jump all in. I'm going to dress all the way up and then record it. And, you know, I can do a little bit of editing, whatever. But, you know, over this past 13 months, especially early on, because nobody really knew what was going on.
We're all stuck at home.
We're all stuck at home. And it was like you wanted, you know, we hang out a lot, so it's like we want to see each other, and like we have a large group of mutual friends. It was like, well, what do we do? You know, and it's like, and then you being a DJ had all your stuff at home.
Yeah.
You know, and you're sitting down. You know, again, here I am in our basement.
Yeah.
You know, and you're sitting down in your basement with your stuff going on, and the weather outside's nice, and all of a sudden you pop on and you're playing music and having a couple drinks and.
Just a few.
Born out of that was Skinny Beer Saturday.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you know my kids, but you know Blake. Like, Blake gets super excited. Like, Skinny Beer Saturday's on. You know, like, we would be checking it out and be like, oh, they're going live. They're doing, you know, and it would be, you know, we could have the capacity to basically, with what we do, commit to a Friday night or Saturday night show or even an evening show just because of all the stuff that like Q and I do, whether it's work, whether it's family, whatever.
Life.
So, you know, that's kind of why we chose the 11 o'clock. But in terms of that, like we would sit out in the garage and we'd have the speaker and we'd have Facebook Live on the speaker and we'd hear music and then you'd have people chiming in, which is comments, and then it turned into you say it, we play it. It was, you know, it was like a jukebox, and then, you know, 2 or 3 hours later, it's still going. So, kind of tell people kind of how did you come up with that? When did you decide, like, you know what, I'm bored, I'm just gonna do this?
I mean, I'd had enough. I'd had enough of COVID. Yeah, I had to get one ding in for me.
Yes, honorary ring.
Yeah.
And as we know, we told Cecilia last week, which it worked out perfect. The ring actually, when you ring the bell, it says ring for beer. So last week we were able to use that.
Oh, that's phenomenal.
And she brought the flight of all the beers.
That's great.
Side note. So anyway,
we need to get that here.
Yes. Cecilia, do you guys still do to-go orders?
No, we were. I was just sitting there and I was sitting there talking to my wife. I was like, I'm gonna go downstairs and piddle around a little bit. And she's like, okay, whatever. So I'm just rocking out, and my kids are.
So let me stop you. So, like, You're in a normal house.
Yeah.
You've got high-tech quality equipment.
Yes.
And you tell her, I'm just going to piddle around a little bit. So the first note that hits when you hit the play button,
It's not quiet.
what was her response at that point? Or was there any?
There wasn't one because the little ones came down.
Yeah.
And it kept them out of her hair. So that was the ploy.
I could take...
She could take the music if the kids are not bothering her for a chance.
Yeah.
You know, like they're always around her. So
Oh, yeah.
it brought them down, and then they're down there and they're like, Daddy, play Frozen. I'm like, okay. So I start playing a few songs or whatever just for them. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pop out this other laptop, and I'm going to go live.
Yeah.
And she's like, really? I'm like, why not? What else are we doing? Let's see if we can get anybody else on. So I pop it on, and I go live, and I'm on there, and next thing you know, people start popping on. They're like, hey, and I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Like, there's actually people watching.
What do we do now?
Yeah. I'm like, well, I'm just going to be me. I'm going to grab a couple beers. I'm going to play some music and talk to my friends and go from there. So I sent the little ones to get Daddy's cooler and go fill it up, and we started bringing it down. And I'm like, this is a Saturday. And then next, I'm getting you guys commenting back and forth saying, hey, keep playing this or play this.
Yeah.
And then next we started hitting different genres of music. And then I'm looking over and I'm like, well, it's Saturday and I'm drinking skinny Mick Ultras right now. I guess it's Skinny Beer Saturday.
Well, then the seltzers came out.
And then the seltzers came out. And then you have all the seltzer beers. You had the White Claws that everybody was drinking and the Trulies. And I'm like, it's Skinny Beer Saturday, it's Seltzer Saturday, and then it's Sanitized Saturday.
Yes,
Sanitized
Saturday.
Because we had to sanitize.
You had the setup. You had the Mick Ultra, the Skinny Beer.
Yeah.
You had the seltzers, and then alongside of that, you had the pump.
Yes.
Hand sanitizer. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everything was good. And, I mean, we had people. It went as far as Brazil, which is insane.
Yes.
Jose Carlos, biggest fan. He might even be watching now.
I almost had to, when that happened, like, do a double take. Like, Brazil?
Yeah.
Like, how in the world does somebody find you in your basement in Brazil? And not only that, but he was going back and forth.
He was engaged.
Yeah.
He was engaged. He was going back and forth and talking about how much he enjoys us and things like that, and it made his day, which was great. And, I mean, that kind of goes back to our whole philanthropy stuff and giving back and how can we help make somebody's day better. But I'm like, you know what? Let's just keep rocking this out. So we ended up we turned it into donations, raising money.
I was going to talk about that, and it was awesome because, obviously we talked about the foundation and the volleyball tournament and what all that stuff goes to, and then for you to kind of see the heat, and the momentum of kind of like, hey, people are actually listening to this.
Right.
Like, this is not a bad idea at all. And then, we joke about it all the time, but a lot of people. I know a lot of people. When I say a lot of people, like, a lot of people. So, and just like Quentin and I, like, we're a lot of this. We're a lot of the same. To where it's like, maybe there's a handful of people that might have something bad to say about us.
Right.
But more than likely, like, we're good dudes that have always tried to do good by other people. Right. So when you don't burn those bridges, you gain this network and these contacts.
Right.
And so with that large network of contacts and people, and you're putting this content online, and then you're able to say, hey, we're doing this volleyball tournament, or we have this foundation because of my sister and what they meant to my wife and I, kind of as we were all going through it.
Right.
To put that out there, and then talk about, like, one, obviously Venmo is relatively new, right?
It is.
So you're able to, and especially now, like before when it's like, hey, no contact with anything, like, so you're getting Venmo and you're getting people dropping by, like, here's some cash, here's a check, here's, and it's like nobody really knows what's going on. So it's like, hey, here's a check, I'm out the door.
That was the best part.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have random people just show up.
Yeah.
Like, our buddy Josh Smith shows up, and he realizes Skinny Beer Saturday, and he's like, here's some cash, and here's a case of Mick Ultra skinny beers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is amazing.
Let's do it.
I'm like, I'm embracing this.
Yeah.
Like every weekend we're just, and it gave people a reason to come by. You know, like we had the backyard bar and all that stuff back there, and people would come by there and hang out outside. And I'm like, cool, like that's awesome. And then the few friends that I knew weren't going anywhere, like you and Nicole, I'm like, come on in, like everybody's okay.
Well, we had our own, like really, like our particular neighborhood, like we kind of had our own bubble
we were in a bubble.
Nobody was really leaving.
No.
You know, and it turned into everybody kind of we always joked about it, but it was really true, especially, you know, now that things are kind of opening up again. But like, you remember growing up, and kids don't have those. Let's play a song, because this is one of those topics that I love talking about. So
Okay.
you're the honorary guest. I think my partner Q has checked in
What's up, Q?
from Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, is he?
Now, I doubt he would do it, but this would be a first for the Tom and Q show. Would be if he would do it. He's on vacation. If we could actually pull him in on Facebook Live. I
would be
know it's
awesome.
possible,
It's got to be possible.
but we obviously need express written consent by not Quentin, but his wife Jessica.
Yeah.
So
Got to have the consent from the wife.
So what we're going to talk about next is really deep to me.
Okay.
Okay. So let's spin the wheel
Okay.
and let's see what song kind of comes up here, because
Top 40.
nope,
1998.
1998. Beautiful. Oh,
Ooh.
this is good.
My graduation year.
Yes. So hey man, things happen for a reason.
Is it country?
That's country. 8. The number 8 country song in 1998 was dun 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 dun. Alexa, play "I Can Still Feel You" by Colin Ray.
Good tune.
By Colin Ray.
Hey man, anytime you get in the top 20,
Wasn't Colin Ray a member? Was he Men at Work?
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know.
I don't know the answer to that. So,
I would have liked number 7 for sure.
you know, being that you're
No, I'm wrong on Colin Ray.
a
Okay.
special guest,
Yeah.
and your year's 1998,
Yeah.
why don't we just bypass Colin Ray and flip the wheel? What's your favorite genre here, if you had to pick?
I mean, I have 2.
Okay.
And they're really tough.
Yeah.
So I love country,
Yeah.
but hip hop, old school R&B hip hop.
Spin that wheel again, and we're going to play the best songs of whichever one it lands on. There you go. Country.
Okay.
You good with that?
I'm good with that.
You good with that?
I'm totally cool with that.
Alexa, play the top country songs from 1998.
Ooh, I know what number 1's gonna be.
Country songs from 1998.
So this is in honor of your support of the show. You get this. This is, dude.
This song is
dude,
phenomenal.
we're gonna go. Remember before the show, I was telling
Yeah.
you about like kind of where things go.
You know what brings me up to this song? All of the guys, and it's so creepy. I play college football, so all of us singing this song in the shower.
Oh yeah.
After practice.
So I'll take you one better, and this is one of those songs, man. Like, it gets me every time.
Yeah.
And I don't particularly like the song, but it's the memory I have of listening to the song and what I was doing.
Okay.
So, little backstory on me, right? So, I played baseball at Coleraine. I went to a small school originally up in New Concord, Ohio, called Muskegon.
Yeah. They were in our league.
Yeah, and beautiful complex. I liked it because it kind of looked like Miami, Ohio, but on a smaller scale. Beautiful place.
Hilly.
Was hilly, and I could go into those details, whatever. But so next week we'll be married 20 years. We were together 5 years before that, so you're going back 98. What's 23 years, whatever that is?
Yeah.
And I left. right? And Nicole and her family are here, and your life's here, and you got this baseball thing going on. But I would come home all the time. Like I'd come home probably every other weekend. And I just remember, and I had this piece of crap, which is a whole nother topic. Piece of crap, maroon, Ford Ranger, no air conditioning,
Two-seater.
Well, it's 3.
Oh, yeah. the
Plastic.
little sides. Yeah.
Automatic or crank windows.
Yeah.
I
You guys
did-
have no idea how good that
Oh my gosh. I did have my second detachable face stereo.
Ooh.
Because back then, breaking into cars and stealing
And that's what they
stereos
would
big.
take, yeah.
So you could pull it off, whatever.
Right.
That was cool. So I had music.
Yeah.
And I'm hanging out up there, and a guy, you could burn CDs.
Yeah.
So he burns Tim McGraw's album, gives it to me. So I was like, oh, this is cool, and I'd listen to it. And this song always gets me because I would be driving home in my piece of crap maroon. It was a stick shift too, by the way.
Yeah.
Maroon truck, Ford Ranger, and this song would play. I would, Mom, if you're listening, don't listen. I would be basically chain smoking cigarettes as I'm just going down the road. Like again, kids, if you're listening, it's bad. It's horrible.
Do not do it.
Do not do it. But it was like anything to just kind of keep my mind off of that boring drive.
Yeah.
Once you get past Columbus, and it's like and this song would play, and I'm like, all right, so like that was my thing. Like I was coming back to see her. I was coming back to see friends. Ultimately the story gets told. I transfer back. We end up getting married. So you have that. We all have those songs that maybe they're not great songs, but like when you hear it,
It reminds you of
you
something.
go back to that, and I'm like,
Yes.
that song right there is the one that I feel like was played the most on my detachable face Pioneer stereo system. That as it was going through, I'm like, I think about that all the time. Every time I hear that song, I think about that drive. Every single time, without question, and it gets me every time.
Well, Tim McGraw's awesome anyway.
He is.
He's great. But I mean, it's funny because you hear that song and it's like, wow, like it has that meaning to you.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna go upstairs later and you're gonna be like, I just had a memory of my wife
Yeah.
because of that, because that's what reminded me of bringing back to you. So
Yeah.
I mean,
and
it's cool.
It's everybody has a story.
Yeah.
Right? And where that story goes and how you get to wherever it is you get to, it's always different. And it's always unique.
It is. It's cool.
And I think that's one of the reasons, and you and I were talking about, is we have this.
Yeah.
Is because you and I could sit here and talk for hours, and we've done it before. And Quentin and I, same deal. We sit and we talk. We got to a point where it was like, there's got to be some point where we cut the show off because we could just go. Right? Especially if you're playing music. It's like
music is like, it brings everything together.
Everything.
Everything.
I mean,
together.
think about that, from the skinny beer, seltzer, sanitizer Saturday
brings everything together.
to like where people are just sitting there, like, I want to hear this, and it gets played.
But it's funny, like, my wife and I were scrolling through pictures through our phone the other day, and I look and I'm like, holy crap, I see my buddy Tommy Spilly, like, or his wife, Sarah. Like, I was on her Instagram for some reason, and I'm looking at it, and she's got pictures of him, or me actually, on their TV. And he's feeding me beverages sideways, like
On the big screen.
On the big screen, like straw. He's got the straw in my mouth in one. He's got another where he's pouring a drink. He's got another where he's giving me a kiss on the cheek.
Yeah.
So between him and Josh Smith doing that, like, I'm dying laughing that they're doing this stuff.
Well,
and
it makes you feel good too, because people care enough about you that they're tuning in.
they're
and
just
that
great
they're
people.
listening.
I mean, I'm blessed to have the people around me that I do, and the network that I have. But it's about good people hanging out with good people.
Yeah.
And that's one thing. That's a lesson I tell my kids. It's
Yeah.
like, you become who you hang out with. So if you hang out with good people, you're going to be a good person. If you hang out with bad people, you're more than likely going to be a bad person, or you're going to go down a road and you're going to be associated with things that you don't want to be associated with. So I mean, it's just it all comes back to just good people, and I tell them that all the time.
So before we went, again, this is where the show goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just if you had a show tree, it wouldn't even exist.
No.
It'd be all over the place. But we kind of hit on 1998, and we were talking about kids nowadays.
Yeah.
Right. And the pandemic, what it did for me, like, I remember growing up I actually saw a tweet or a Facebook post about this yesterday. You know, you didn't go out to eat. Going out to eat was
A privilege.
a privilege.
Yeah.
It was a treat. Maybe once every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
You know, and if you were
Mom and Dad cooked dinner at home every night.
yeah, and
Every night.
like,
You ate was on the table.
that was it, and that's what you ate.
Yeah.
Like there was no, like, hey, I want to order this. I want to do like. Didn't matter how busy you were.
Right.
If you had a game at 6 o'clock, dinner was going to be ready at 4:30,
Yeah.
or
You're eating after.
you're eating after, and more than likely it was like
You're warming it up.
that, or it was like, hey, let's get Burger King.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't like Burger King. Now I'll give you this. That was the one exception.
Hold on, let me ask you this. Do you not like Burger King?
No. I'm just
Okay, I'm just
spitting
making
out.
sure because it's really good.
Yeah. So, but you know, I have a younger brother.
Yeah.
He's 5 years younger than me, and like just like your kids and my kids, you're not always on the same page.
Right.
You're better off the parents just saying, hey, here's what we're having.
Yeah.
Right. But when you start throwing out options, like I remember. Mom or Dad would go to Skyline, pick up Skyline, and then like my brother would be like, I don't want Skyline. I want Burger King or McDonald's.
Yeah.
So then they make a separate trip to get McDonald's. So I guess they did kind of do that a little bit. But more than likely it was, we're having spaghetti. We're having hamburgers. We're having steak, which ended up being liver. It was not funny. But parents
Hold on, your parents played that cruel trick
do
on
not, yes.
you? They said steak and they gave you liver.
So this steak is terrible.
Yes.
And it was liver. And it took me about halfway through it. I probably slapped some A1 on it because A1 you could put pretty much on anything.
Anything. Chicken rings.
Yes.
To White Castle.
Yes.
Amazing.
And like finish it. But I remember like, no, that was liver.
I
That was
can't.
liver.
Well, you know what? I'm guilty of that. My wife and I, we tell our kids most meat is chicken because they like chicken.
And right.
So they're to the point now where they understand what steak is, but anything else, it's chicken.
Chicken. No, they did. And I specifically remember, like, you know how you eat something and then like it keeps coming up and like you're kind of burping it up.
Oh,
Sorry
it's
to be
brutal.
gross, but you're kind of burping it up. Like,
Yeah, you still taste it.
It's like, if this is a steak with A1, I'm okay with it. I'm good. But burping up liver for 3 or 4 hours, oh,
Yeah.
gross. So I could see a couple of gag reflexes already kind of
Oh, it's brutal.
going off. But
It's brutal.
you sat on the front porch. You played outside. Like, the choices you had as a kid back then were like, it was like 2 things. If it's raining, like, okay, you probably played Nintendo.
Yeah.
If it was nice out, like, I wanted to get out there at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
No, don't do that because so-and-so might still be sleeping or their parents might still be sleeping. Like, I stayed at home all summer by myself when I was like in 4th or 5th grade.
Yeah.
And then I want to say they even left my brother home with us. You know, like nowadays, like,
You can't do that. It's
No.
it's frowned upon.
yeah,
That's what I mean. Just talking about the food. I mean, it brings me back to the story. Like my mom used to have this skillet, and it'd have this food on it, or in it, place it in the center of the table, and we all sit 8 families or 8 dinners a family, and she'd sit there. The only thing that was frowned upon in my family of putting on the table was peas, because my dad couldn't stand
Hated 'em.
couldn't stand the smell of peas. So it was just my sister Mandy and my mom that ate the peas. Nobody else did. Well, we'd have all this food. My mom, Dad'd be like, well, you're not leaving the table till you eat your food. So me thinking I'm this little genius
right.
would take, like, I didn't eat corn or anything at the time. I'd take it and I'd just fling it underneath this little skillet.
Yeah.
Or I'd, like, put it off the table and underneath my plate.
Did you do the spread out?
I
So
did.
it looks
I, did
like
I did the spread out for sure. I mean, they were not buying it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was times where I sat there for hours.
Oh, yeah.
And just, they were like, you're not getting up until you eat.
Now, do you use that today?
No.
I was gonna say if you said yes, I was gonna say does it work?
No, I don't. I mean, I eat what I put on my plate.
Yeah.
And then my kids, if they don't eat, I mean, we give in. And we're like, what else can we make you besides
Right.
So, because we don't want to send them to bed famished.
Yeah.
You
We're
know?
good parents. We feed our kids.
Yeah, and they're like, you don't care about us if
Yeah.
you don't feed us, and I'm like, no, that's not the truth. But there's
Well-
been times where I said you're going to bed and you don't eat what's on your plate.
That was another one. You're going to go to bed without supper.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think, I mean, you can look at me. I probably never went to bed without supper ever.
Right.
Maybe 2 of them, you know. But nowadays, it's like, just like you said, you cater. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. It's just different.
Yeah.
You cater to whatever it is that you can do to basically keep them from bitching. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, it's like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
You know, and this is a constant.
It's a
Every
struggle.
day, what are we having for dinner?
Yeah.
You know, last night, Carson, my oldest, he was supposed to have a game at 8 o'clock, so we really didn't have any particular thing taken out to eat. You know, when you freeze stuff, it's got to thaw.
Right.
So it's like, well, what do we have? It's like, what do you guys want? This was like the worst question ever. What do you guys want?
Because somebody's going to want something different. And then you're really not going to want it.
Oh, yeah. It's like, I'm going to ultimately make the
this-
decision.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for somebody to say something. I even asked, I won't say the name too loud, but I even asked our tech girl what she thought that I should eat.
Okay.
Yeah, don't do that, because she comes up with
Random stuff.
No
Probably
answers, but
something healthy that
she
we really don't want.
She gave me a recipe.
Ooh.
It's like, no, the whole point of me asking you was to tell me where I need to go, not how to make whatever balsamic chicken with rice. I
Yeah.
don't care. You know, we ultimately was like, and all of my kids are different too.
Yeah.
So it's like, Carson doesn't like La Rosa's. Everybody else likes La Rosa's.
Who doesn't like the
I
roses?
know. But he doesn't like their pizza.
You can't. Yeah, he's got to be able to find something he likes there.
Right. So he goes with Rondo's. You know.
Pretty much the same thing.
Or correct.
You're still at the end of the day, you're still eating the pizza sauce.
Yes. And ended up, which can't go wrong here, the 3 of them got hoagies.
Love me a hoagie.
Oh yeah. Me being Italian like I am, I got the ravioli. I'm like, this is great. Nobody's complaining. But to get to that point,
Was an
oh
argument.
boy. I want Crossroads. No, we were just at Crossroads. I want Game On. No, we were just at Game On. We're not going out. Like,
Right.
it's coming here,
Yeah.
one way or the other. Like,
Do you find it more easy? Do you find it to be easier to bring the food to your house or to eat at the restaurant? Because if I'm going to the restaurant, I love going to restaurants.
Mhm.
But at this stage of the ball game with my 2 little ones,
Yeah.
they're so wired differently, and they fight because they're so close in age that it's such a challenge to go to dinner anywhere. But
So, think
to
about
bring it
that.
home, it's easier.
It is. It's way easier because then, I mean, we've done it sometimes where it's like, hey, we'll feed them their chicken patties or chicken nuggets or whatever, and just so we can get some quiet peace,
Yes.
like we'll DoorDash or go get something after they go to bed.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
Like
Yeah.
now you can breathe.
yeah, and it's like then you can finally eat in peace instead of like you're sitting there and you're like you just get ready to sit down, and of course one of them like finishes whatever drink they had, so then you get up to refill their drink, and then it's like you go back to sit down. Can you get me the ketchup? Like now you're back up to get the ketchup, and then they're nitpicking, and then they're not eating, and it's like I don't even care anymore.
Right.
Just but when growing up, it was always this is what you ate.
Yeah.
Regardless of whatever it was. And my mom's a good cook, so like other than the liver, that was terrible. But there was never
Note to self: don't feed your kids liver.
correct.
That's not going to end well.
Yeah,
Don't feed your
it's-
husband or your wife liver.
No, it was borderline.
Go to a nice restaurant
so-
if you want liver.
You're talking about generations, right?
Yeah.
So like my dad, he grew up liver being okay to eat. You look at McCoy's, same generation as my parents.
Yeah.
What do they serve? Liver.
Liver and onions.
Liver and onions.
Yeah.
Which is what we had. It was steak and onions. Oh,
Well, that's
no,
'cause
it's not.
That's the Irish portion of it, though.
Right, right.
Yeah.
He would eat liver. I'm like, ugh, gross.
Yeah.
You know, and then, but our generation, like, growing, like, no.
We're not eating liver.
No, but as I got older, I'm like, I'll eat the peas, I'll eat I'll eat all the other stuff, but like, I'm not eating that. Like, and then obviously we talked about, my fear of white sauce. I'm not eating that either, but
Which still boggles my mind.
you know, what's crazy is Q and I have talked about it. He has the same fear that I do. He doesn't need it either.
So you found another individual in this world that has that
Yeah.
same fear, and you two happen to be best
And
friends.
what's amazing is the more people I talk to, I think it took Quentin and I coming out of the woodwork to make other people comfortable.
Oh, okay.
So, like, we're going to start our own support group, I think, at some point of, it's like the no mayo. And that's what we'll call it. No, hold the mayo. The
Hold the mayo.
Hold the mayo support group. We meet at Outback, where there's red meat and A1.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. A1, phenomenal condiment.
Yeah.
Ketchup, phenomenal condiment. But
Wait a second. Did we just start on a whole new top 10 list?
potentially
Favorite best condiment?
top 10 condiments. But then you get into the fact that you can't eat a Frisch's Big Boy.
Nope.
You
Nope.
are missing out on life.
I'm not, because I've adapted to the greatest chicken sandwich of all time, which is the Frisch's chicken sandwich.
What do they put tartar sauce on it?
Not on my sandwich.
So you get the Frisch's chicken sandwich without tartar sauce.
Frisch's chicken dry.
What
Bowl
like,
of chili.
well, you and your
Onion
bowl
rings.
of chili. You love the bowl of chili.
That's my order. That's the and can you believe this? That is the only place that I go to that I get one thing. If I go to and I spend more time probably at local places like Crossroads or Game On,
Yeah.
but I always get something different there. Quaker Steak and Lube. Blake loves Quaker Steak and Lube.
Yeah.
We go there a lot. I get multiple things there based on what sounds good.
Have you been to Roosters?
I've been to Roosters. Yeah.
You can order anything there.
Yeah.
There's a new one up there, by the way, at Crookshank.
Yes, been there.
Okay.
And they serve the big giant beers too, which is awesome.
Big beers.
Yeah. Those are a lot of the authentic Mexican restaurants. That's why I like them too, because they serve the big giant cold mugs, you know.
Valley Escondido
Yes,
or
fantastic.
La Piñata.
All of them.
Yeah.
They all do the same thing.
Cancun.
You know, and so I don't do Cancun, and the only reason they're super expensive.
I thought you were going to say because they have white creamy sauce or something.
No, but I'm nervous about anytime I go to an authentic Mexican restaurant. I'm nervous about the cheese.
The queso?
No, queso doesn't bother me because I know what's in queso.
Will you eat queso?
Yes,
Ooh, you're flirting with white.
I know.
There.
And it's not. I'm not a huge fan of queso, and I like fresh guacamole too. It's good.
You like pizza,
I like pizza, mozzarella cheese.
mozzarella cheese.
You
Okay.
know, my staples in regards to that are like, I don't do mayonnaise, I don't do sour cream, and I don't do
Ranch.
ranch or cream cheese.
Lot of my favorite foods.
So those 4 things, if they are involved in anything that somebody's making, I'm out. And I don't complain about it. It is what it is.
Bagel dip you won't eat?
Nope. Nope. Skyline dip, won't eat. I'll eat the heck out of Skyline, but won't eat Skyline dip.
Okay.
But, you know, growing up, we didn't really have, like, nobody really ate ranch. We had Italian dressing or vinegar and oil.
Love an Italian dressing.
Yeah, it's great. You know, that was what we had. You know, my dad likes mayonnaise, but he was the only one that ate it. My brother and I don't eat it.
You know what I can get behind is the people that don't like Miracle Whip. I'm not I'd take mayo over Miracle Whip all day.
See, to me, I don't know the difference.
It's not the same.
No. What's the whipped cream? What's the whipped cream? Cool Whip.
Cool Whip.
I like Cool Whip.
Yeah, dude, give me a whole tub of Cool
Yeah,
Whip.
Cool
With a spoon.
Cool Whip.
Yeah.
Cool Whip. Yeah, I like it. But any of the other stuff, I can't do.
No bueno.
And I think it's, one, the taste is different. The other is like that creamy texture
Yeah.
on top of it. Like, it hits. An American cheese is another one. Like, I don't know if it's too rich, whatever, but
I
it
can
hits.
get behind that. It is rich.
It hits like almost like that gag reflex. It's like,
You know what hits my gag reflex? Jägermeister and tequila.
tequila will get mine.
Every time.
As I've gotten older, I've gotten a little bit better. I don't do tequila per
No.
se. I definitely don't do shots.
No.
You know, but younger, you make, you know, a lot of times when you do shots of tequila, it leads to bad decisions,
Yeah.
right? So that was one. I remember my 21st birthday. somebody got it for me, and guess what happened?
Came right back up.
Right at BW3's on Corrigan Avenue. Like, that's a horrible idea.
It's a terrible idea.
It's like nobody wants to listen to me, the one actually with the birthday, the one
Right.
actually like controlling the game. Like, nope, this is not a good idea. Oh yeah, you can, you'll be fine. No, I'm not.
So,
Clean up aisle 10, please.
I mean, it happens. So we go to Valley Escondido for my wife's birthday.
Yeah,
We go bowling afterwards, all that.
yeah,
They come out, they give her the little sombrero, and they give her the shot of terrible tequila.
yeah.
So they say it was terrible. Or they said it was good. I don't know if it was good or not because it's all bad tequila
Yeah.
to me. Besides, my brother-in-law Tony loves
He does.
tequila.
I can't get past the smell.
I can't. That's what gets me. So she takes this shot for her birthday, and the pressure was on her, and there was still about that much. She might have taken a sip,
Yeah.
and I'm not just gonna like leave a wounded soldier behind. So
So did you fall on the sword?
I fell on sword. I checked my mental toughness at this point,
Yeah.
and I said, you know what, you can do this. Like, believe in yourself.
Yeah.
You're not gonna throw
Toughen up.
So I go in there and grab it, and I just shoot it, and she looks at me, and I'm like, okay, fight this down, fight this down, fight this down, and I'm holding it in my mouth.
It's
She had already bitten off the lime, so there was nothing
nothing
left
to
for
save
me.
it. Oh.
So I'm like, can I get some chips?
And you ever think about like how that combination came about?
I have no clue. But it's
Like, if you have to come up with the combination to make this taste better,
it's probably not a good idea.
probably not good.
You should probably just make it hole in one.
Yeah.
Like they did with Bud Light Orange or
Yes.
Bud Light Lime. That's probably where it all stemmed from.
Like-
But not with liquor. I mean,
No.
infused flavors
Yeah.
of liquor. I mean, cherry
And,
vodka.
and that's becoming more and more popular.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to whether you go to the liquor store, even look at the seltzers that they're making. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got a High Noon now that's supposed to be
Ooh, High
vodka and
Noon.
soda, right? Which is
4.5% alcohol.
yeah, it's a little bit different, but the taste and everything else along the way. But that whole thing has changed, and it used to be back then red meat, Miller High Life, the old commercial.
Whole
Like-
life.
Miller High Life, red meat, carbs are good.
Yeah.
Nobody worried about anything.
No.
And kids would go outside and play. And that's what I was getting at before. It's like so weird over the last 13 months that we would sit out on the front porch, or we'd sit in the garage, and we'd have your music on, and you guys would interact that way. And then, my family and our life and your life too. It's like you're just before that you're just always busy.
Yeah.
I got to be here. I got to be here. I got to be. And it's every night you got to be someplace else. And I'm not complaining. It's the life we live. It's the life we choose. But when you were on quarantine, and everybody's in the same boat, so like now your neighbors are home, you're home.
Yeah.
Kids that weren't really playing together before, it's like, well, we really don't have anybody else. It's like, let's go outside. What are you doing?
I feel like it was in some ways it was a good thing.
Yeah.
It caused kids to interact with new people.
Mhm.
It caused kids to get creative and start going outside, getting off the electronics.
Yeah.
Getting out of the state of the norm that they were accustomed to, and understand that there is rules and boundaries in life.
Yeah. And like it's okay. Like it was almost like it went back. Like it was 2020. It was like almost like it went back, heck, 30 years.
Yeah.
So like where I grew up, it was like we didn't have all that stuff. Like yeah, we liked playing video games, but like at the same sense, it was like we didn't have cell phones.
We had Atari.
Yeah, but like
I mean,
you couldn't text.
no.
You couldn't text your neighbor and
It
say,
was
"Hey,
yelling like, "Hey!"
go knock on the door.
Go
Hey,
knock on the door."
Can Jimmy come out and play?"
My mom used to scream at me like, "T, time to come home!"
Mhm.
And, like you'd hear different parents yelling
Oh.
for their kids. Like as soon as those street lights started to come on and the sun goes down,
We would
like
test
you were
those
getting yelled.
boundaries.
Yeah.
So like in our neighborhood, you had it's a neighborhood of probably 1,200 houses.
Yeah.
Okay, and that streets are all close together. And I remember like, I had friends, especially in the summertime, that I would be less than 100 yards
Yeah.
right away, and we played baseball at a 4-way stop, and this was every day in the summer. Like from basically, and we would play. Gosh, it was just. I think about that stuff all the time, like how cool it was to grow up in our era, and even where I was, because you could ride your bike. You'd get up in the morning, you'd ride your bike wherever you wanted to. We played bike tag. We'd have 30 people all involved, and we're going through this neighborhood playing bike tag. And then when that would end, we'd have 10 people on this 4-way stop that were playing wiffle ball or baseball with a tennis ball. So you're using gloves.
That was the greatest thing ever.
And like the people on those
Hold on. You used gloves for tennis ball?
For tennis ball, we did.
You did?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We were barehanding it.
No,
That's
bare
where-
hand for wiffle ball. For tennis ball, you did
tennis ball, we barehanded it.
because you'd load up the bat,
Yeah.
and then where we were, I mean, you could hit that tennis ball
Hard.
not just hard, but far,
Far, yes.
really far.
Yeah.
You get a nice black or yellow, the original yellow wiffle ball bat.
And then you tape the end.
Well, yeah, especially if you cut the top of it off
Yeah.
and put some other stuff in. I mean, you
Oh,
could.
yeah.
I mean, it became really end heavy.
Yeah.
And you're imitating your favorite player. Mine was always Eric Davis. His stance, and you're just crushing it.
I could even see you doing like almost the Gary Sheffield.
Done that too.
But the Eric Davis was the bat swivel.
So Sheffield had the bat going over top.
Yep.
Yep. Davis was a little bit of a spin.
Yep.
He had the knee, high leg kick,
Yeah.
tater salad. Right?
I mean, we all did it.
Yeah. We couldn't do wiffle ball because the field was too big where we were, because it was a 4-way stop, and both streets going this way were long, but you used the corners as the bases.
Yeah.
You know, so if you did wiffle ball, you weren't hitting it as far. Now we would do wiffle ball like in the yards, and then you drew boundaries. But I mean, we did those two things just alone. We would do. I'll give you my perfect elementary, middle school summer day. Get a Pop-Tart in the morning.
Favorite Pop-Tart?
Ooh, brown sugar cinnamon.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes, solid. Followed by probably the strawberry.
So I could handle strawberry, but
I know why you couldn't handle it is because it probably had the white coating.
no,
icing
that didn't
on the
bother
top.
me. That didn't
Okay.
bother me. Icing doesn't bother me.
Okay.
Unless it's cream cheese icing. Cinnabon, that was a sin for you to put cream cheese icing on that.
On Cinnabon?
Yeah,
Cinnabon's phenomenal. By the
it
way.
is with regular icing.
I agree.
The
I
cream cheese
agree.
icing is too rich.
Yeah,
and too thick.
I agree with that.
And I, being a connoisseur of all things white sauce, can tell you the difference.
Yes.
So my perfect day, and you can tell me if this is yours, right? So I'm in 5th grade. Summertime, 10 o'clock hits, go knock on doors, so-and-so come out and play, ride your bike around, kind of waiting for somebody to come out, waiting for your friends to come out. You get 7 to 10 guys. Hey, you guys want to play baseball? Play baseball. Go to the corner, 4-way stop, playing baseball. In the meantime, in the neighborhood, there were girls that were my age.
Yeah.
You know, back then, I feel like in terms of like where things are now, I had more interest in that, and the people I hung out with had more interest in that than kids do nowadays, which is great. I'm all for it. Wait as long as you can. But the girls would be playing their games, and then of course you've got the 5th grade and 6th grade boys that are showing off, you know, and then everybody comes together and you're riding bikes and you're playing bike tag. So in my neighborhood, you're riding around and you're just riding the whole neighborhood, and all you had to do was get basically within arm's reach or close to arm's reach of somebody.
Yes.
And you got them. We'd have like 15 people doing that, and then you'd hear, this is where like I'd hear Tommy, and like we would stretch the boundaries on
Yes.
how far I could actually hear my
Sorry,
dad
Mom.
yell.
Sorry, Dad. Couldn't hear you.
Couldn't hear you. Well, where were you? Yeah. And then you'd go eat. Can I go back outside? And you'd go back outside, and it was getting dark. And then, you had these girls that lived there. And it's like, I want to stay out till 11 tonight, if that's okay. We're just gonna play hide and go seek around the corner. And then, okay, fine, but you need to be back in by 11. So 11 would come. I'd come back in, and like I went from like 10 to 11. And like those particular days at that age, like I look back at it now, it's like those are like the greatest days
Without
of
a
all
doubt.
time.
Without a doubt.
Of all time. Like
Yeah.
like I never thought about coming in.
No.
I never thought about playing a video game. I never thought about picking up a phone. I never thought about any of that stuff. Well, last year, about this time, like, that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was like, you're outside.
Kids were having to do that again.
Oh, my gosh. And it was so amazing.
It was.
And it was like, you're getting to experience life. And to those kids, and I know, like, Austin's in 5th grade, and I listened to his principal when they were kind of doing awards, and man, it was crazy. I was driving to work into the office, and I had their award show on my phone, so I was listening to it over the Bluetooth.
Yeah.
And they're giving awards out or whatever, and he came on, and he's like, you guys are going to be the greatest class in this school's history, because nobody has had to endure what your class has had to endure over the last 12 months.
Yeah.
And this will be talked about from now until the moment you graduate and forever on what you guys had to go through.
I mean, what do they say? The greatest setbacks set you up for the greatest comebacks.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, that's really what it was. I mean, it was a setback. I mean, even my oldest, I mean, she's 20 years old now, but like, she didn't get to have a graduation.
Right.
She didn't get to have a prom.
Right.
Any of that stuff. So, I mean, her senior year is just washed.
Yeah.
And her first year of college is a wash. So, I mean, it's making them more mentally tough. So when that comes in their future, they're going to be able to handle adversity.
Yeah.
Which is great.
So, you know, that kind of brings me to that point of, like, getting going, and people talked about it, whatever, call it whatever you want, but, like, part of that great reset, right? Whatever that means. I actually enjoyed that part of the great reset. Was like,
Yeah.
look, you can go outside. You can get by without these things. And you know, then sports kind of came back to some extent, and we kind of all went back. But there was like a 2-month time frame to where it was just like I remembered
Yeah.
growing up.
It was.
And it was like, as a parent, you constantly are adjusting, and you're constantly changing in the way you think, the way, you know, just based on things that are more accessible now.
You just think about it from a challenging standpoint of parenting.
Yeah.
I mean, being a parent and then have to parent through this pandemic. Right. I mean, it was tough. I mean, from all aspects of it. But then look at it from a business standpoint. I mean, you probably became more efficient. I know I became more efficient. Our company became more efficient.
Yeah.
I mean, we were able to do things via Zoom and have meetings and reach more people. I mean, we had our most successful year as an organization, as a company, because we were able to overcome adversity, but also still provide a service.
Yeah.
Through all this.
And you're
which was great.
you know, there was a lot of that last year where a lot of it is so new to everybody, where you're adapting on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
And then in our business, you know, one of our mantras has always been, hey, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We may not know right now, but we'll figure it out. And
That's
I
great.
think there was a lot of that last year.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was politics, whether it was religion.
Oh, are those all days?
Work. Yeah, we don't talk about those. Except for
Okay.
when I just mentioned those. Yeah.
Learned something new today.
Yeah, I mean, you can really ring the bell anytime you just don't want to talk about something either. So
Okay.
it's free form.
I like it.
So let's go into our next segment. Okay, but before we do that, apparently we've played every song from 1998.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
Am I spinning again?
Yeah, you're the honorary spin. 2003.
Ooh.
Spin again. Got to go.
Yeah, that was
It's like the old.
terrible.
You got to go all the way around. We got rock.
Oh.
Number one. Beautiful.
You don't get a lot of number ones, do we?
No. Top rock songs 2003, which is past my time, but you say it, we'll play it.
You say it, we'll play it.
Alexa, play So Far Away by Stained. Wow.
So far away.
There you go.
Sing on Amazon
This guy's life took a turn.
So, Usually on this show, we have a couple of segments that we call basically our order of business, right?
Okay.
So last week we skipped this part. We substituted the fretboard Instagram and the fretboard Facebook likes because we had the counter right there in front of us. So if you liked it, we could see the board actually flip right there in front of us. So we bypassed my email account. So we're going to go back 2 weeks to episode 17, where Tom's email account, he had 161,076 unread emails.
That is just mind-boggling.
Well, I think
my OCD would go through the roof.
So today, June 3rd, again, I get a lot of spam. I don't unread or not read.
You don't even delete your spam.
That's the problem. But I'm past the point of no return at this point. Like
You're just going to let it roll.
Yeah, I can't.
Until your inbox fills up and
then I have to go to some other email account. I would shut down the internet. So this week, 162,984, which in a 2-week difference is approximately 1,800. So I'm averaging about 900 useless emails in a week.
what do you think if there's like a good coupon in there or something that you can use?
So the great thing about that is, anytime I'm going to go buy something online, I go to it's like my email is like its own Google search.
Right. Because it knows what you like to go to see or go.
Say I want to go to Staples.
Yeah.
I may not open that email, but then I'm saying, oh, maybe I have one. In the search field, I go to Staples. Guess what comes up? Coupon for Staples. Check.
Yeah.
Dick's Sporting Goods. Check. That, it actually, you know what? The more I think about it, it's kind of
probably
a benefit.
a good thing.
It's kind of a benefit.
Well, where you need to change it up a little bit is if you go back to the old ones and you delete some of those old ones, all your new coupons are fresh.
Yeah.
That's where it'll help.
But usually those pop up first.
That's true.
And
so why even worry about the past?
Correct. That's why it just stays out there. And I've
Yeah.
reached the point of no returns. It would take me, I would have to hire an intern to go into my Yahoo accounts and constantly click delete, next page, delete, next page, delete, next page. And then my fear, because I'm an electronic hoarder, would be I don't have a paper trail for something. And I would freak out. Like
5 years worth of info minimum.
I know I've got something on this. I know I do. So it is. And my email, the more I think about it, has become its own Google search engine.
Yeah.
You can find anything in my email inbox. So that's our email count for today. So we started a new segment last week called Tom's Yesterday.
Okay.
So we were at Fretboard on Thursday. Wednesday, I kind of had a rough day. Nothing dangerous, nothing where, the world wasn't ending. It's just one of those where it's like, man, this kind of sucks. Can we get something to kind of go good, But I made it through. So we called it Tom's Yesterday. We have 2 Toms here.
2 times.
2 Toms. So we can do Tom's Yesterday.
Twice?
Times 2.
Okay.
So how was your yesterday?
Yesterday, my yesterday was pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
I actually got to go to sit wet soccer practice yesterday.
Okay.
If I went to 2 yesterdays ago, which would be really interesting, we're down in at our lake house, family's lake house. My wife's family owns lake house at Elk Creek.
Okay. Yeah.
Elk Lake down there, and Frankfort, Kentucky's not too far from there.
Okay.
So
and what's in Frankfort?
What's in Frankfort is Buffalo Trace.
And what do they do?
And Buffalo Trace distills bourbon, which they also have a lot of other different bourbons. And my father-in-law, who's been on that lake for 40 years, didn't even know it was there. So I said, hey, Big Mike, you want to take a ride with me? He goes, where are we going? I said, Frankfort. What's there? Buffalo Trace. So he's like, yeah, I'll go. Told him what it was. We get down there, pull in, beautiful ride, only 26 minutes, I think is all it took us to get there, and pull in, and I'm like, it's a holiday weekend. There's nobody going to be here. Like, as soon as I pull in, there's a line around the corner, and I'm like, okay, well, they said that's just for temperature screening.
I was gonna say, was there a promotion? Or
Well, they didn't open until 11:30, so we got there right at 11:30 on the nose.
Yeah.
Pull in and get in line, get our temperature screening. It went really quick, and people go out on their tours. We're sitting in this long line. I mean, we were in line for 45 minutes, and just to try and get in the gift shop so we can buy some Buffalo Trace or Blanton's or E.H. Taylor or Eagle Rare.
Now, do they make Blanton's?
Yes.
Okay.
And they distill everything there, which is amazing. And they only distribute it for guests that show up there certain days.
Mm-hmm.
So we show up, and we're about 15 people from being at the front of the line. And we had already waited 45 minutes. And mind you, I'm a fair-skinned ginger who's standing in the sun.
And it's 85.
With no SPF on blacktop. And I'm baking out there. And we get to the shade area, and I'm like, yes, it's cool. Like, we're about to go in. We'll be in and out. We'll get back to our family by 1:30. And we'll be able to take the boat out and have a good old time, and we'll make a cocktail.
Yeah.
And the lady there is talking to Big Mike about a vodka they distill as well, which is a award-winning vodka. She's like, nobody knows about it. Like, I don't know why, but we're known for this as well. You got to try it. It's a gold medal winner. So he's like, I'm getting 2 bottles of that. It's $18 a fifth. And we walk in, or we go to the front and walk in. Next, fire alarms pulled.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, what? They're like, everyone, you have to evacuate. And I'm like, this has got to be a joke.
Did you go conspiracy theory at that point?
I thought about it. I'm like, I looked at him. He goes, you got to be kidding me. I was like, I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, are they going to let us right back in? They were like, no, if this place goes up, it's all going, it's going boom.
Run for the hills.
Yeah. So they're like, evacuated everybody. There was not one person from Kentucky or Ohio that was around us.
Yeah.
They were from Arizona, Texas, New York, all over. There was some lady, a foreign country that they were there. They were all coming from all over just to go to this distillery. And I look at him and I'm like, we're seriously walking out here with nothing. So hopped in the car, take the ride back, and go to the lake, and they're all on the boat, ready for us. They're like, what'd you get, boys? And we were like, nothing.
Struck out.
We struck out. So in honor of that, I had a bottle of Buffalo Trace at home. That's what I'm going to sip on today and have a few, and it's not bad, is it?
No. And for those of you that don't know, usually that's kind of how the show goes. I'll pour a thing of bourbon, and usually when the bourbon goes, the show is over.
Yeah.
So today I've got a partner that's enjoying some Buffalo Trace Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd have to say it's pretty good. And for me, that is it's an acquired taste.
It is.
So like, it's not something that just I guess maybe as you get older, you enjoy liver and onions. I don't know.
I don't think I'm ever going to enjoy liver
Me
and
neither.
onions.
Me neither. I think I'm done trying that. So that was Tom's yesterday. I'm not going to lie. My yesterday was pretty eventful, but I don't even think it's noteworthy. I don't think it's noteworthy. There was
Really?
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot kind of going on. We were supposed to have a baseball game at 8 o'clock. It got canceled. My wife plays volleyball at the Knotty Pine.
Yeah.
So kind of took some time and kind of went up there with another buddy of ours and watched them play in the pouring rain.
I mean, that's
it, and that was it. And then I came home. And
no late night snacks.
No, because we ate La Rosa's, ravioli, salad,
Yeah.
breadsticks.
Okay.
Like, that was good. I had carved up. I had carved up. I was ready to go. Then I come home and I'm like, man, I need to watch at least one episode of my last week's show of the week.
And what was that?
Homeland.
Homeland. Okay.
So I'm kind of repeating last week's show of the week because I don't have a new show of the week because I'm still on this one. So I'm on episode 2, or season 2, episode 5 or 6. Homeland. It's Showtime.
Yeah.
Which if you have Amazon Prime, I believe you get this Showtime. I don't know if you get all of them or why we do, but we get that included in our
Yeah.
Amazon Prime. I don't even know exactly when Homeland was made. It's dated a little bit. We can ask Alexa, what was the show Homeland made?
Here's something I found on the web. According to Israel21c.org, Homeland is the American version of the Israeli hit series, Hatchicom.
Interesting.
Didn't know that. Alexa, when did the first episode of Homeland air?
October 2nd, 2011.
So there you go. So 2011 was the first episode. That's 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So it goes back a little bit in time. Yes, you're right, Nick or Greg. Homeland is phenomenal. Like, I started it. I don't even know where I heard it. It just kind of was like I was out of some of the shows. I'd watched Jack Ryan, Queen of the South. Like, I'd seen those. And you binge watch these, especially over the last 13 months. Like, there was a lot of binge watching going on. So, like, you kind of start, and I'm watching Homeland. It's a little bit slow. You kind of get it. And it was like, all of a sudden, you're like, boom. It has everything. Did you ever watch the show 24?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know who Claire Danes is?
Yeah.
So, Claire Danes, she is no longer the daughter of a Capulet, right? From what was the Romeo and Juliet,
Yeah.
right? With her and Leonardo DiCaprio. Like,
Yeah.
she's grown up. She plays a Jack Bauer type agent, but she is completely off her rocker in some circumstances. And it's got Mandy Patinkin, who was the original Criminal Minds
Yeah.
leader, right? He's in there. He kind of plays a very, very similar character, right? And I'm only in halfway through episode 2. You have this POW that gets captured. They have this idea that, you know, the American people see him as this American hero. Well, meanwhile, the CIA see him as potentially somebody who has actually turned. And it's all about this, so far, this story of these two people, how she's an agent, she's trying to prove that he's turned, he's trying to prove that he's not,
Yeah.
and like all this stuff similar to like 24, all this stuff happening around him, and the story and everything. It's just like it's action packed, man. Like it, and when the show ends, you're like, I should watch
That's it.
the next one. So it's one of those shows where it's like when it's over, like you almost have to go to the next one. Quentin had a good idea, and I'm taking him up on it. When you go down these shows that are like that, start the next one, but commit to ending in the middle of that show.
So you wait for the next one to come out?
So no. So you wait so like if I'm on episode 5 and I'm starting season 2, episode 5 today, and it's a 45-minute show, I think. I watch and I get to the point at the end. They always have the cliffhanger at the end of every show.
Okay.
So if you do go on to the next episode 6,
Yeah.
don't watch all of episode 6. Cut it in the middle so you don't get the cliffhanger and feel like you need to watch episode 7.
Okay. That makes sense.
It's kind of your, okay, I got to stop. This is my stopping point now, or else I'm going to watch 7, then I'm going to watch 8, and you're there for 4 or 5 hours,
Yes.
and you're blowing through it. So mine is still Homeland. Phenomenal show, Showtime, highly recommend it. You being new to the show,
Yeah.
or new to being on the show,
Yeah.
the last 13, 14 months, give me some of your favorites.
I have one I'm stuck on right now, and
Okay.
I'm watching it by myself because I watch it at my kid's soccer practice.
Okay.
And I watch it on the A&E app.
Yeah.
And it's biography.
Okay.
And it's the biography of all the WWE wrestlers.
Yes, so we talked about this a few weeks ago. So
it's amazing.
So I watched the Rowdy Piper.
Okay.
I've seen the Macho Man,
Yep.
and I've seen Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay.
So I haven't seen
Mankind. Jake the Snake Roberts.
Jake the Snake,
Ultimate Warrior.
Shawn Michaels, or the Ultimate Warrior.
Watched them all.
So did you walk away? Again, this goes back to what we were talking about before. Like
Yes.
our particular generation.
Takes us to our childhood.
Yes.
Yes.
And
I had the action figures. I
Yes.
had the ring.
All
the
of it.
rubber figurines. I
All
mean,
of it.
all of it. It was amazing. But no, I mean, I watched the most recent one I watched was Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah. He had a troubled.
And I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
And this was the one where they were going back. So I watched the biography and I watched the WWE Treasures, where they'll go and find memorabilia from that
Oh
era.
wow, yeah.
So they'll go in, like, this one was finding Jake the Snake's bag that he had Damien the Snake in. And then they had the Honky Tonk Man's guitar that he hit him over the head with. Those two in real life do not like each other.
The Honky Tonk Man and Jake the Snake.
And Jake the Snake. And I'm not going to ruin it, but you need to watch it to find out why. But it's insane. And the path that one incident led Jake the Snake on is mind-blowing.
So I'm definitely going to check those out because
Yes.
that is my giant guilty pleasure. Is
Yes.
Still to this day, I still watch wrestling. I just, it's my soap opera. It's my story. It's, and even when I love when they bring the old people back.
It's
it's
great.
like, it just brings you back exactly like you said to your childhood, to where like I'm watching the Macho Man one, and there's a story, and they probably told it in the Jake the Snake one, to where Damien the Snake literally bit
Yes.
the Macho Man Randy
Yes.
Savage.
And it's a great story.
Yeah. So
And he really bit him.
yeah, right. They show it. He really.
I mean, it's insane.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. I mean, what those guys put themselves through to entertain people.
Yes.
I mean, their lives and body on the line.
Yeah. There may be a story, but there is real to that.
Yes.
You cannot do what they do
No.
and consider yourself an actor.
No. Well, one person in particular, Mick Foley,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
was not an actor.
No.
Like, he
How
embraced
many-
the role.
How many things can I throw myself off of, or how many things can you put into my body?
Missing ears
Yeah.
and teeth. And the guy was insane.
Absolutely nuts.
Insane. And then the sad part is seeing where some of these guys are now and knowing that they put themselves through a lot of this and they threw a lot of it away.
Yeah.
And it goes to the story of, like, just athletes in general.
Yeah.
Not being financially sound and smart. They have the wherewithal to make smart investments.
You look at them, as kind of icons, as kind of heroes, kind of as you're growing up, and then we get older, 20, 30 years down the road, you kind of think of them like 20, 30 years earlier.
Yeah.
You don't really think of them as like Ric Flair being 70-something years old.
No.
I saw a tweet the other day of his son-in-law suplexing him off the side of a pool into the pool. It was hilarious.
That's great. Or even Jake the Snake in Vegas. Like, how many times did you want a DDT thing as a kid?
Yeah. And you have pillows.
And you had pillows.
And they came up with what, again, I think was my original. We talk about this all the time. Things that I think of in my mind that I'm like, we should invent that. Well, as a kid, the first one I thought of was like, man, if they could just make like a stuffed, instead of a stuffed animal, like make it a wrestler.
Yeah.
Wrestling buddies, bang, the kid
Yeah.
right here.
Been great.
I'm dropping the elbow off the couch
Yeah.
onto
Superfly Jimmy Snuka stuff, huh?
onto my brother's My Buddy doll.
Oh,
Right?
remember
I mean,
My
we
Buddy?
beat the heck out of that thing.
Oh, I had a My Buddy.
That's
I was talking to one of our buddies, Jay Roden, and I was talking to him about the show. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "This is what I'm doing, watching soccer." And we started going back and forth with wrestlers.
Oh yeah.
He's like, $1 Million Man, and I'm like, Ted DiBiase.
Yes.
And then he's like, and then I'm like, he threw it out like Coco Beware,
The Birdman.
the Birdman,
Yeah.
or Big John Studd.
Oh yeah. Big John Studd.
I mean, we're going through all the old school ones.
King Kong Bundy.
King Kong Bundy.
Yeah. I could go
Diamond
on.
Dallas Page.
DDP. Yeah.
DDP. I mean, there's Sting.
Sting. Those guys are still around.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
The Bushwhackers.
Oh, Luke.
Tag team.
Yes, Luke.
partners.
Luke and Butch.
Yes.
Luke and Butch, the Bushwhackers.
The Bushwhackers. I
You
mean,
had-
it was great.
You had the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty
Ooh.
Jannetty.
I mean,
I could go on.
that story, you have to watch that one too.
Yes, I know.
Because the Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty story is great. Like the fact that where Shawn Michaels was and where he went based off of who he hung out with, what
Yeah.
we were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
of like you become who you hang out with.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a perfect example, which is crazy.
Well, I mean, even look at a guy like,
Greg Seifer said the Iron Sheik.
well, the Iron Sheik and Hulk Hogan apparently were good buddies.
Yeah.
And the Iron Sheik, when Hogan was younger, let him beat him for his first WWF
Yeah.
championship. And you always see the video of like Hulk Hogan getting sprayed champagne on him
Yeah.
with it, and it's Andre the Giant is over the top, and then Andre was the first like mega star because he was Andre the Giant, and he got the job on Princess Bride,
It was great.
and he's big Andre the Giant's holding up this tiny, which also had Mandy Patinkin in it. Also, did you know that?
No, I didn't.
You know who I'm talking about? Mandy Patinkin.
Yes.
So Mandy Patinkin is Indigo Montoya. Hello, my name is Indigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Over and over and over.
Who was the? Is it more like the general that always went against Iron Sheik?
Oh, Sergeant Slaughter.
Sergeant Slaughter.
Who also became a G.I. Joe figure.
Yes.
Along with William the Refrigerator Perry.
Oh man, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. And
'Cause- okay, so you're going down a whole different path here. So, looking back, the years 1985, 86, 87.
yeah,
You get up in the morning, you got to be at school at, let's just say, 9. Bus comes, mom takes you, whatever. What was your routine?
routine. So at 85, 86, 87, I was 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
So I was either watching Fraggle Rock, Muppet Babies, playing with my G.I. Joes,
Yeah.
my wrestling figures, or looking at my baseball cards.
So, before the bus, or I actually walked to school, like we had a routine. It was, okay, you ate, let's just say it was a brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tart.
Yeah,
You sat down and you watched cartoons.
yeah.
So you had Thundercats,
Thundercats, yes, are on the move
G.I. Joe.
for sure.
I was a huge G.I. Joe cartoon fan.
See,
I
you
didn't-
got lucky because I had sisters, so they
Oh, yeah.
set precedence on what
Yes.
I had to
So you
watch.
had Gem.
I had Gem.
Gem.
Yeah.
Gem is truly outrageous.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had to watch all that stuff.
But I'm not gonna lie, I watched Gem too. Gem. You had Voltron.
Voltron.
Yeah, and I had all these action figures. G.I. Joe was awesome, and you had Thundercats. Kind of the start of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Oh yeah,
and then everybody's favorite Transformers started
without
back
a
then.
doubt.
Like you could leave me in front of the TV to watch those cartoons.
All day.
I would, yeah, without question.
And now today, it's kids just watching random people on YouTube
YouTube,
and TikTok.
YouTube, TikTok. Like I watched 2 of my kids watch YouTube over the last few days that they've been home of other people playing baseball outside.
Instead of doing it themselves.
Like-
Go film yourself.
Yes, go outside, play baseball. If you feel the need to put it on film, go ahead and do it. You can even use my YouTube channel for crying
Right.
out loud.
Right.
Heck, maybe I just thought of something.
Yes, you probably did.
Maybe I'll call the play-by-play on YouTube
Of the kids playing
of the
ball.
kids playing ball outside. I would be tremendous. I would be rude,
You
and-
have to be.
and parents would hate me.
but
but-
they need to get better. You're preparing them for life. Life is not easy.
If you just let me call play-by-play up at Hobner of one D1,
How about an all-star game?
no, that's those kids deserve to be there. They were voted on upon their peers.
Okay.
So, but I hear you've seen these YouTube videos of the guy who, he's probably doing it voiceover work, you
Yeah.
know, and so he's calling these baseball games, and it's hilarious. He's talking about Johnny striking out or Johnny doing this or whatever. Like I would be great at that.
Yeah,
Problem is I'd hurt too many feelings.
that happens.
So, show of the week, Homeland. You're watching A&E, the biography of the wrestlers. We have got a huge, huge week starting yesterday. The world, as we knew it for the past 13 months, has reopened. Health orders are
Yay.
over.
Amazing. At least in Ohio.
Yes, yeah, and it's kind of coming down the pike for the rest of the country if it hasn't been there already. It's just odd traveling and then like being in Home Depot last week and nobody's wearing a mask. It's almost weird.
Do you feel like you're doing something wrong when you're not?
I think that's your first question, right? And
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is people have to be careful of is like if somebody wants to wear a mask, let them.
Yeah.
What effect does that have on you?
Right.
Let it go.
I mean, why judge them?
No, there's no reason.
It's not affecting you.
No.
So go have fun and live life.
So if somebody is next to me and they're wearing a mask and I'm not wearing a mask, like, I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. Like, I'm not going to say anything, but you have that certain group of people that they want to question everything and they want to be involved in everything. And it's like, guys, this whole thing is now back to normal.
Yeah.
Say what you want about it. It's back to normal. You want to screw it up?
People back in live events.
Yes. Oh, we've got concerts. Yesterday was Reds reopening day.
Oh, man. It kind of goes with their season, though, doesn't it?
Right. It gets rained out.
Yeah.
But so theoretically, I would have loved to have been down there.
Yeah.
Regardless of the record, just.
To be in a full stadium again.
Oh, my gosh. Like, and like, in your opinion, do you think, and I don't know, maybe you know this, I don't know the stats or even heard any numbers, but what type of crowd do you think would have been down there yesterday?
It'd probably been half full.
Half?
Yeah, I mean, you'd figure it was a day game.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd probably been half full. I mean, it was tough. The people already planned for the original opening day.
True.
How are you going to get another day off work to go party again?
But even
on a Wednesday.
That part's true. But there's enough people in this town that I would think with the Dora.
The door is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, being able to openly carry a beverage.
From a restaurant to restaurant,
Yeah.
and then they've got live music, and just knowing that at this point nobody's getting slapped on the wrist.
Right.
And, nobody's getting stopped. And then you have a baseball game.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough that I went to, we had some really good seats a few weeks ago, another buddy of mine, and, you brought your mask, but then once you were there, like, we were inside too, so it was cold. It was just so weird being there and not being the same that I had remembered it, whether it was as a kid or even Great American Ballpark.
You know what's not the same about it? $14 beers. That's what's not the same about it.
No, when you can buy a $3.50 ticket,
Yeah.
and you could go up to the top, and beers were like, I'm good with a $5 beer at a ball game.
All day. Even $7.
Okay.
$7.50.
14?
14 is just
It's crazy.
highway robbery.
Yeah.
I understand they need to try and make things back, but I mean, you want to get people back in the stands. That's
There's one way to get people back in the stands.
winning team.
And there's one way only, and that's it. You want people to come and watch? Win.
Then you can charge the $14 a beer.
When you
But
start
until then, scale them back.
scale them back, give me a winner. Once that, win a championship.
Yeah.
You win a championship, and if the only thing they have to complain about is $14 beers,
So be it.
so be it.
But at least you're winning.
They're champions.
Winners win.
That's exactly right. So they went downhill. Speaking of going downhill, you had the Kentucky Derby.
Whoa.
So a few weeks ago on this show, we brought up the fact that the Derby winner, Medina Spirit,
Good old Bob Baffert, the
yeah,
trainer.
the trainer, the horse tests positive for some type of illegal steroid substance. I heard Bob Baffert on the Dan Patrick show. Man, make a ton of excuses.
A lot.
Tons of excuses. Did not make himself to look innocent whatsoever. A
No.
lot of like, hey, this is going to happen. I better blame somebody right now. But they're going to do a second test, and this second test is going to come out okay.
Right.
Second test failed also. So it looks like Medina Spirit is going to basically be wiped off the record book for the Kentucky Derby.
Wow.
They haven't said that officially, but it looks like he's going to be disqualified.
How does that affect the bets?
It doesn't.
That's the sad part.
It doesn't. But what it does affect doesn't affect the bets. But what it does affect is that purse. I didn't know this. When a horse wins a big race like that, that purse, whoever's supposed to go to, goes into escrow
Okay.
until
Everything's cleared.
that test is cleared.
So how does it affect the jockey that's supposed to get paid for that? Who doesn't know what's
Has
going
no
on?
idea.
Has no idea what's going on with the horse.
Yeah.
Maybe it does, but and more than likely doesn't know what's going on with the
I would
horse.
think
And
not.
just rides the horse because they're continuously riding those horses.
Yeah, he would. If
That-
that was race 10, he rode in race 9.
At least 3,
Yeah.
4 other races that day.
Every other race or so.
And that affects his purse,
Yeah.
which is not fair to him.
And he loses the title of Kentucky Derby winner.
Yeah, that was his third, I believe, anyway. But
So even better.
yeah,
Three,
unfortunate.
3-time. Nope, you're only 2.
Right.
Right. You know, so
Sorry, buddy.
so that kind of happened. Bengals OTAs
Joe Burrow
throwing the ball 65 yards.
into a cooler. Did you see
I
that?
didn't see that.
Throwing it 60 yards, and he had a cooler set up at the end of the 60 yards, and he was trying to make it into a cooler, just humming it around that cooler. Now, to have be able to throw it that way, 60 yards, I mean, throwing it 10 yards accurate
Yeah.
is tough. But to throw it into a Gatorade cooler 60 yards, unbelievable.
7 months removed or whatever from
ACL surgery.
reconstructive knee surgery.
Unbelievable.
So do you feel confident that he's
I feel
not going to miss a beat?
I feel he is going to be ready to go. I feel until he gets that first hit,
Yeah.
then he'll have questions. But once he gets the first hit, mentally he'll be fine. When it comes to the Bengals, I think that they will have a solid season. I actually fear the Cleveland Browns this year.
Yeah.
They've put a lot of pieces in place. Baltimore Ravens have put a lot of pieces in place. It's going to be probably one of the most competitive divisions.
So I think the best way I can sum that up is I look at the Browns the same way that probably the Steelers and Ravens looked at the Bengals kind of in 2010 to kind of 2015. Yes, they have a ton of talent. However, their talent, like, and their structure and everything on the field, to me, everything just kind of seems to go in a lot of different directions to where they never really get that consistency.
Yeah.
So they're waiting for that, Jeremy Hill fumble, the Vontez Burfict, Pac-Man Jones incident. Like I see them more capable of doing something stupid
That's true.
like that. And I see the Steelers taking a step back. They're always the Steelers, but I feel like in terms of youth and the youth movement and
We're set.
as far as that goes, and talent overall, like they're kind of getting long in the tooth. The one team I have always respected, regardless, is the Ravens.
Yeah.
Like
They're always solid.
they are, and they're just always hard to beat.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if they're 2-14 or 14-2. Like they show up, I feel like, all the time, and they are just poised. They are together, and they always put a good product on the field.
Defense is always solid.
Yeah.
Tight end's always good.
Always solid.
Tight end always beats us.
They finally got a quarterback that kind of fits their aggressive system, whereas I never really cared for Flacco.
Right.
So like he would never win. Kind of that whole Andy Dalton joke.
But how does Lamar Jackson hold up?
I don't know.
Like what's the longevity of a quarterback that's like that, or the lifespan? I mean, it's typical of a running back. I think you have to look at it as a running back as well.
If Michael Vick doesn't do dog fighting, he probably goes down as one of the most. He probably already is the most explosive quarterback of all time.
That's true.
He could throw the ball 80 yards downfield. He ran a 4.4 40, and you couldn't tackle him.
That's true.
Like
that's hard to argue.
He goes to dog fighting and sits out a year or two. Never really was the same, and nobody is in the NFL. Like it's not like anything else. You can't just jump back into the NFL. It's not like Michael.
Unless you're Tebow.
Well, we'll see. I'm rooting for him. I always root for the person.
Yeah.
He looks jacked.
I mean, the guy's huge. He's looking like Thor.
Yeah, and he's a football player.
He is. Never played that position. But he was a quarterback, so he's one of the smartest guys on the field. So
So we'll see how that kind of plays out. I mean, he's got his old coach, Urban Meyer, is always going to be on his side.
Yep.
If it doesn't work out, maybe he swings something into Jacksonville where he's a coach, of some type, or
does he pick up another sport? What would be his next sport?
man, he's getting up there in terms of sports. He's getting up there.
Can he golf?
I would think if he could golf, he would be golfing by now.
That's true.
I mean, he's 30. I think I heard 30.
But look at, Romo. Romo's a golfer.
Yeah, but he still hasn't fully made that transition because they paid him because he's such a good announcer.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah, so now he can just play golf wherever he wants,
Yeah.
show up on Sunday and beat Tony Romo.
Right.
Average quarterback in Dallas, great commentator,
Sees everything.
Yes,
Tells
everything.
you about it.
everything.
It's great. It's definitely great.
So the NFL season is around the corner. Obviously school's out,
Yeah.
so craziness in the summertime between people still working at home, having kids at home, going to kids events, keeping everybody busy, like just maintaining that whole life balance. So with the health orders over, we'll see kind of what kind of comes down the path of those types of things.
I'm excited.
I am too. It's just weird. It's weird being June 3rd.
Yeah.
You're so used to this lifestyle that you had for the last 12, 13 months. And now to go out and obviously that stuff's still there, but the fact that we're actually just getting back to life again.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. Hopefully everybody's staying safe.
Yeah.
And still taking extra precaution where they can. But at the end of the day, live life.
Yeah.
You only got one, so
That's it.
go have fun.
So here we are in the wrap up, week 19. Earlier today, we talked about, the foundation.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just quickly give people a spot that they can, one, show up to events.
Yep.
Two, if they want to make donations. Three, if they just want to investigate and see what it's about.
Yeah.
So the volleyball tournament is August 13th to
Yep.
14th, Friday, August 13th to 14th, starting at 5:40 on the 13th, 9 o'clock all day long, Saturday,
Yep.
at Knotty Pine on Cheviot Road. DJ Diamond will be there Saturday.
He'll be there Friday.
Friday.
Yep. You
Friday.
have White Oak Productions on Saturday.
Oh, White Oak Productions on
Yeah.
Saturday.
It might be a you say it, we play it segment
Now.
all day. Skinny Beer Saturday as well.
We'll have to talk to Cole and Casey, but do you think that the Tom and Q show could put a show on Friday afternoon,
Without a doubt.
getting yourself, contributors, Cole, Casey, to come on, play a little bit of music,
That'd be great.
talk about the tournament, maybe post some live shots of games kind of going on in action,
Let's do it.
walking across? I think that sounds like
No, I think it's a winner.
an
I definitely think it's a winner.
awesome day.
Without a doubt.
Because I'll be there. So we have that going on. Timeout Saturday.
This Saturday for the JGH Memorial, helping 4 families this year. One is one of the recipients has since passed.
So, not to kind of go backwards, but let's talk about being a part of it. I obviously know kind of what goes on, but when you're talking about the Amanda Watkins Dunn Foundation, right, and even the JGH, like you mentioned the scholarships, but it's so much more than the scholarships.
Oh, without a doubt.
So you have families and you have people that they might not even. They probably need it, but like they're not out there reaching their hand out for this type of stuff.
No, not at all. Like just in particular, this year we have 2 recipients for our foundation. One, Allison Geesting, she was my daughter's teacher when she was in 5th grade at Coleraine.
Yeah.
And then the other one is Ron Meister, who is a guy I coached with at Roger Bacon, stage 4 tongue and throat cancer.
Okay.
Currently battling it right now. He's fighting his butt off. He's going to win. I have no doubt about that he's going to win. But they don't reach out to us. We hear their stories, and we want to help them.
Yeah.
So they're reluctant, like we were when people were
Sure.
trying to help us. We were like, no, your pride gets in the way. But
Yeah.
you know what? Take the help. If somebody's offering, accept help.
Yeah.
It goes a long way. It eases the burden.
And then when you win,
Yeah.
it's your obligation at that point,
Pay
like
it
you
forward.
did, to pay it forward.
Without a doubt.
Yep.
And you pay it forward, and it's so much more fulfilling
Yeah.
when you do that. So we're excited. We're excited to help these families. I'm excited to see them win. Allison has won her battle. She's still having some complications with her pancreatic cancer. She had the Whipple procedure, but she's having some complications with that. But she's going to beat that as well, and everything should be rolling here shortly. So we're accepting donations. We're accepting sponsors. If you want to donate, you can go to awdmemorialfund.com. You can go to our Facebook page, Amanda Watkins Dunn Memorial Fund, or Instagram or Twitter. You can actually donate directly through PayPal on our website, or you can reach out to myself, Tommy Watkins, or they can go through you.
Yeah.
And pass along information. Looking for things for gift bags, gift baskets, anything for the day of the event. So if people have any craft things that they do, that would be awesome.
So you will, I can guarantee you will get some Tom and Q stuff. You'll get some Talby Suggs stuff. Cecilia, if you're listening, if there's anything that you can do at Fretboard as well, whether it's a basket, whatever, some stuff that we can kind of raffle off, that'd be awesome. Local legends, Ryan as well. I'm kind of putting all these guys on the spot. You like how I do that?
I do.
Local legends.
I need to buy some Local Legends swag.
Phenomenal stuff.
The gear is awesome.
And he's such a good dude that when we did the story last week, about Officer Sierra and how he suddenly passed away, and his brother at Fretboard, and we show up and we've got some Local Legends hats with the S23, which was a beer that they had made.
Yeah.
It was just a really, really cool moment, and for some really, really cool people.
Yeah.
And if anybody's out there like willing to help us out, and one, help us out so we can help other people. Two, help us out make it a party.
Yeah.
If you can live life where you're just constantly, nobody does this, but if you're just constantly giving back and having a good time doing it, man, life's way better that way than it is
much
being
better.
miserable.
I agree.
So, Tommy Watkins, thank you so much for filling in for Q.
Appreciate it.
I'm sure this won't be the last time that we have you on the show, but it's been fun, man. It's been
Had
great.
a blast.
So, you were 1998, and I'm sure they still did it, but in 1996, we always said, peace out.
Peace.